We believe in the angels and the prophets and the books which were revealed to the messengers, and we bear witness that they were all following the manifest truth. The messenger believes in what has been revealed to him from his Lord, as do the men of faith. Each one of them believes in Allah, His angels, His books, and His messengers. And this is in the end of Surah AlBaqarah. آمن الرسول بما أنزل إليه من ربه والمؤمنون. Allah has made faith to mean faith in all those matters. Allah calls those who believe in all of these aspects as believers. So the faith, the articles of the faith that we know about, the 6 articles of faith. Anyone who denies Allah, His angels, His books, His messengers, and the day of judgment has gone far, far astray. And so anyone denies any of these is not from the Muslims. Faith is that you believe in Allah, His angels, His books, His messengers, and the last day, and that things good and bad are foreordained by Allah Azza wa Jal. So these are the 6 articles of faith that we need to believe in. Sometimes the more tricky one is the last one, which is the foreordained. People might say, yes, I believe in the foreordained. When it comes to practice, they explode. No people truly believe in these principles except those who follow the messengers. Philosophers, so-called wise men, think that Allah is only an existence without an essence, that He does not know particulars, though everything that exists in reality is a particular being. The truth is that the world for them is neither made nor created nor done by Allah Azza wa Jal. And these are when people indulge in philosophy and try to apply their rules of philosophy on our Aqidah, they will reach to this conclusion that Allah is only an existence without any sense, and this is something that is not acceptable. Allah Azza wa Jal has a sense, but His essence behooves Him. We do not know about it. That needs to be clear. That He does not particulars, we know that Allah Azza wa Jal knows everything from the beginning to the end and even before it happened. Though everything that exists in reality is a particular being, the truth is that the world for them is neither made nor created nor done by Allah Azza wa Jal. That's a practical, although they might say that Allah created everything, but in practice they deny it by thinking that Allah don't know all the details. The last 2 verses of Surah Al-Baqarah state these principles succinctly, that it is why these 2 verses are the eminent distinction. In Al-Bukhari and Muslim, it is recorded from Abu Mas'ud, Uqba ibn Amr, that the Prophet ﷺ said, whoever reads the last 2 verses of Surah Al-Baqarah at night, they protect him. So we are missing that part from that hadith. We'll check on that part of that hadith. We'll get it inshallah. Muslim recorded from Ibn Abbas, who said, Jibreel was once sitting with the Prophet ﷺ. When he heard the sound of something breathing above his head, he raised his head and said, that is the sound of a door in the sky that has been opened today for the first time. An angel has come down from it who has never come down before. The angel greeted them and said, I bear glad tidings. You are given 2 lights which have not been given to any prophet before you. They are the opening chapter, Al-Fatiha, of the Quran, and the last 2 verses of Surah Al-Baqarah. You will not recite a word from them that will not be granted to you, will suffice for them. I think this hadith says that suffice them, so suffice the person, suffice him, correct? Hadith suffice him. So whoever reads the last 2 verses of Surah Al-Baqarah at night, they suffice him, they are sufficient for him. So these, why are they sufficient for him? Because they are speaking about the Aqidah matter, which is the belief in Allah and the messengers and the books and the angels and all of the articles of faith. As for the angels, they have been assigned to various jobs, taking care of the heavens and the earth. In fact, every movement in the world is made by them. Allah says, they arrange to do the commands of their Lord and distribute blessings by command. So, we know that there are angels for hell, there are angels for wind, for mountains, and there are many ahadith, like when the angel of the mountain came to the Prophet ﷺ for At-Ta'if, when he was thrown with stones coming out. Jibril came to him and said, I have the angel of the mountain, if you want, he can crush them between the mountains. And so on. So there are angels for everything. So everything happens on the earth actually is made by them, by the order of Allah Azza wa Jal. And that's from where you think the Greeks, they have all of these, the Lord of the wind, the Lord of the fire, the Lord of this, the Lord of this. It's actually, if you come back to the essence of it, it might be that at some stage a prophet or a messenger has taught about these angels, and then people took it further astray, and then they started believing that these are gods. The Quran and the Sunnah point to different groups of angels who have been deputed to various things: mountains, clouds, rains, ovaries of the mothers to see that the fetus develops properly, to men and women in order to observe and record whatever they do. So we have the angels that people usually point on the shoulders, that the angels are there. To the dead in the grave, to ask them about religion. We know that angels in the grave, when people die, they will wake him up and ask him about who is your religion, who is your messenger, who is your Lord, and so on. To the heavens, to move them. To the sun and moon, to fire in order to ignite it or punish the wicked and destroy their houses. To gardens in order to grow shrubbery, and so on. So the angels are there to do everything around us in the world. Some of them sprinkle mercy, some inflict punishment, some bear the divine throne, some are engaged in worshipping, praising, and glorifying Allah only, and so on. No one knows how many kinds of angels there are except Allah Azza wa Jal. So there are unlimited number of angels, only Allah knows how many of them. And they, as the Prophet ﷺ said in the hadith, the sky had a sound like a crack when you sit on something and it cannot bear you, it will have that sound. This is in Arabic called atta. Atta meaning that it had a sound of like it cannot hold more. So the Prophet ﷺ said once, the sky had that sound, and it deserved to have that sound, as there is no place of four fingers except there is an angel which is either standing or bowing or prostrating until the day of judgment. So that's the number of angels that we are speaking about. The word malak, which is angel, means a messenger who is commanded to carry out the commands of his sender. Angels therefore have no say in the command, which is completely at the will of Allah, the one, the irresistible. So angels don't have any say. And as we know that in the day of judgment, Allah Azza wa Jalla will ask the angel of death to take the soul of everyone until there is nobody except the angel of death and Jibril alayhi salam and Allah Azza wa Jalla. Then the angel of death will ask Allah will ask the angel of death to take the soul of Jibril alayhi salam. And then Allah will ask the angel of death to take the soul of himself. And then Allah Azza wa Jalla will stay alone, as he was alone at the beginning. They speak not before he speaks, and they act in all things by his command. He knows what is before them and what is behind them, and they offer no intercession except for those who are acceptable. And they stand in awe and reverence of his glory. And this is the verse in the Quran. Each of them knows his place, which he never transgresses. Each carries out without fail what he has been asked. The best among them are those who are in Allah's presence, who are not too proud to serve Him, nor they weary of His service, who celebrate His praise night and day and do not ever flag or pause. So these are the best ranked angels, those who are always next to Allah Azza wa Jal, whether they are carrying His throne or they are next to Him. So that's the best out of them. They are headed by three angels. Jibreel, Mikael, and Israfil. So these are the main three angels that are the leaders of the other angels. These three are entrusted with life. Jibreel brings the revelation, which is the life of the heart and soul. Mikael takes care of the rain, by which comes the life of the earth, plants and animals. Israfil is in charge of the blowing of the trumpet, which leads to the reviving of the dead. Lots of people bring the word Israel as an angel of death, but actually there is no authentic narration that the name of the angel of death is Israel. That's why the proper way is to say Malak al-Maut, which is the angel of death. The heavens seem to crack under their weight, and why shouldn't that be the case when there is no place the size of 4 fingers in the universe which is not occupied by an angel worshipping his Lord, standing, bowing, and prostrating before him? And this is what we have said. Every day 70,000 of them enter into the much frequented house, Al-Baytul Ma'mur. Al-Baytul Ma'mur is above the Kaaba. Every day 70,000 of these angels enter Al-Bayt al-Ma'mur, and they never return to it until the day of judgment. So if you imagine every day 70,000 entering into Al-Bayt al-Ma'mur, never coming back to it, the number of angels that enter Al-Bayt al-Ma'mur alone is numerous from the day Allah Azza wa Jal created the angels. There is no God but He, that is the witness of Allah, His angels, and those imbued with knowledge, standing firm on justice. Therefore, belief in the angels is one of the 5 basic foundations that form the pillars of the faith, or of faith. People have debated the question as to who is superior, angels or human beings who are pious. So they debated, which is more superior, angels or the pious human beings? So it is said that Ahlul Sunnah believe that pious men, or at least the prophets among them, are superior to the angels. Why is that? Because the angels are ordered, commanded, and they do not disobey. So they don't have a free will. They do what they are ordered. But the human beings, they have a free will. They can do the bad, they can do the good. So the pious people chose to do the good. That's why they considered them as more superior than the angels, because they had the chance to do the bad, they refused. In the Sahih it states, Allah has obligated the obligations, so do not neglect them. He has set the boundaries, so do not go beyond them. He has prohibited some things, so do not violate them. About some things He has been silent out of compassion for you, not out of forgetfulness, so do not seek after them. So, what can I understand from this hadith? It might be that, what's the use of asking? Who's better? The angels or the human beings or the pious? If Allah Azza wa Jal forgives us and gets us in heaven, that's the most important. Clay is superior to fire in many of its attributes. Therefore, Iblis' constitution deceived him, and he became proud and refused to bow down, because he said, I am better than him. You created him from clay, created me from fire, so he thought that he is better than human. Among the attributes of fire is the desire for superiority and being inconsistent, fickle, and volatile. Furthermore, it ruins everything that touches it with destruction and burning. But Adam's element helped him in repentance, calmness, submission, and obedience to the command of Allah Azza wa Jal, whereas the fire did not have that attribute. So that's why Shaitan did not repent, because the material that he was made of actually was something that is always destroying what touches it, or it tries to be superior over everything. He admitted his sin and sought forgiveness. Among the attributes of clay are consistency, calmness, composure, humility, submission, fear, and humility. Again, whatever comes into contact with it grows and develops and is blessed. This is the opposite of fire. So that's the explanation of the scholars about the difference between the material of creation of the Iblis and the human beings, and the attributes of the fire and the clay, and why the human being is more superior in that. Khidr was not superior to Moses. Khidr, or the righteous person who met Musa alayhi salam, was not superior to Moses because of the knowledge that he possessed that Moses did not. Moses and his servant went out in search of knowledge by going to Khidr. Moses clearly sought knowledge from him. Khidr told him, "You are following some knowledge from Allah." Similarly, the Hudhud was not superior to Sulaiman because of the knowledge that he had that Sulaiman did not have. So we cannot say that knowledge can make the person superior or the creature superior or over the other creature. As for the prophets and messengers, we must believe in all those whom Allah has mentioned in His book. We must also believe that He has sent many other prophets and messengers whom He did not mention. Their names and numbers are known only to Allah Azza wa Jal. Of course, who are mentioned in the Quran for us, we have only 25 mentioned in the Quran, and there are some narrations which might not be considered as authentic, but still the scholars, they accepted these as narrations that we can rely on but not 100% sure, which is 125,000 prophet and messenger. They mentioned that they were sent to the humans. Of some messengers we have already told you, of others we have not. So we believe that Allah only knows about these prophets and messengers. And we did aforetime send messengers before you. Of them there are some whose story we have related to you, and some whose story we have not related to you. We must also believe that they conveyed to their people whatever message they were given by Allah and asked to convey, that they explained it fully and left no excuse for anyone, and that no one has the authority to oppose them. So we have in our belief that all the messengers are prophets, conveyed the message completely and fully, and everyone understood the message of the messengers and prophets. So no excuse for anyone to disbelieve in them. But if they turn away, your duty is only to preach the message clearly. Among the messengers, there are those who are said to be of resolute purpose or absolute resolve. Ulul Azm. Ulul Azm, from the messengers, they are specified in one verse of Surah Al-Ahzab. Al-Baghawi reports from Ibn Abbas and Qatada that they are Nuh, Ibrahim, Musa, Isa, and Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and the 5 of them were mentioned in one verse. As for Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, we should believe in him and follow whatever rules, Sharia he has given, following it and believing in it both in general and in particular aspects. So for us, we have that message clear, and there is no change in that message. We believe in all the books that have been given to the messengers, both those that Allah has mentioned in His book, such as the Torah, the Injil, and the Psalms, and those that He has sent to the prophets but has not mentioned their names. Their names and numbers are known only to God. Mankind was one single nation, and Allah sent messengers with glad tidings and warnings, and sent with them the book with the truth. So we believe that whatever books Allah Azza wa Jal has revealed with His prophets or messengers, then we believe in all of them. But how many of them we still have without changes? That's the point.